Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Manarino. Yeah, still me. All right, people, look, we have to talk on this day. Lots of stuff going on as usual. Monday, February 7th, 2022. You know, before I even get started, I want to give a shout out to two people. First of all, one of my lionesses, her name is Misha, who's taking care of her mom right now. And the second is to a friend of mine named Chuck. Now, Chuck and I, we kind of came up together. While I was at Bear, he was at Lehman. Okay, isn't that interesting? He has kind of a little bit different perspective on the market than I do. And I want you all to hear it. So what I'm going to do here is figure out a way to get him on this channel. Maybe we'll do a little chat. He lives out here with me in Las Vegas. I think what he has to say is worthwhile listening to. I don't completely agree with it. He doesn't completely agree with my take on the market, but it might be interesting to all of you to see two guys who came up in a very similar way. I don't want to say with a totally different perspective, but with a somewhat different perspective on the market. So I'm going to work on that. So anyway, shout out to you, Misha. Shout out to you, Chuck. And, well, I'm looking forward to a lot of things. All right, people, look, so let's get back to the market. What happened? A very volatile day. Stocks positive and negative and positive and negative. How did we finish? I'll tell you, but it's really the debt market we're watching. Okay, we got the Dow Jones Industrial Average here with a fractional, and I mean fractional gain. I'm going to say flat. The S&P 500 with just, look, relax a moment. The S&P 500 today fell under a little pressure. However, we are just 7% off of an all-time high. We will be hitting it again. That's my opinion. You can have yours. We'll be hitting it relatively soon. The NASDAQ fell about 0.58% today. Okay, a lot of this is what we're seeing here in the debt market. Now let's go over there. All of you could not be more clear, crystal, on the importance of the 10-year yield with regard to this market, how it plays out, and I would like to believe that's true. So I've been watching the 10-year yield all day, and it was kind of stable for most of the day. It was nudging a little higher earlier, and I was going, oh boy, but we kind of stayed where we are. When you look at the 10-year yield, where is the second place you should look? Anybody? I'll tell you. The Dixie, or the relative strength of the dollar. I have covered this many times, but I want to say this again for those of you that maybe are new here. When you look at the 10-year yield, okay, it's nice to see, but you shouldn't look at it independent of the dollar or the relative strength of the dollar. So what Greg Manarino does, is I look over at the 10-year yield, okay, 1.91, 1.92. Then my second look is over at the Dixie. What is the dollar doing? What we don't want to see is the 10-year yield rising from a market standpoint, okay? So let me be clear on this, because I know I'm going to get like all kinds of people freaking out. From a market standpoint, we don't want to see the 10-year yield higher and the Dixie, or the relative strength of the dollar, higher. We would like to see a drop in the dollar. There exists a compensatory mechanism here between the 10-year yield and the Dixie. These things have a tendency to balance out. And if we keep our eyes on these things, we can best gauge as to what the market's going to do. All right. But again, this guy, will keep you ahead of the market, on top of the market. Okay. So today, again, nothing dramatic here with the 10-year yield. But again, it doesn't mean we're out of the woods, people. The stock market seems to be a little right now. Again, look, no gains here. We had, like I said, a 1 point gain, 1.5 point gain in the Dow. NASDAQ got hit the hardest. Nothing major, 0.58, 0.6, something along those lines. and the S&P by 0.34 to the negative side. Okay, we're still just 7% off an all-time high with regard to the S&P 500. So with that said, let us move forward. Bitcoin doing really well. Over 44,000 cryptocurrencies in aggregate. All the good big ones doing pretty good. Bitcoin being the mama. You all know that. Gold, especially silver, doing very, very well today. Now, crude oil fell under a little bit of pressure. Little bit. And if you are a subscriber to my free newsletter, again, link in the description of this video, every Monday I send out stock suggestions, what you should be looking at, take advantage of the market, and how to take advantage of it. Exactly. Look, I don't just throw these things out here and just say, okay, well, go fend for yourself. No, I actually tell you what you should be doing. I actually sent out today, continue to nibble at tech here, specifically the QQQ. I went over the banks again today, which ones I like. So again, if you are not a subscriber, what the freak are you waiting for? Okay, subscribe right now. Do it as I'm talking to you. Just click on the link. Click on the link. Click on the link. Anyway, allow me to help you. That's all I can say. How many times have you heard me say, if you let me help you navigate your way through this freak show of a market, well, it'll pay off, more than likely. If you don't, well, that's your choice. So anyway, people, let us move forward. What's the talk? Okay. If you were to turn on the propaganda ministry, which I don't think many of you actually watched, you got CNBC, Fox Business, Bloomberg, blah, blah, blah. The narrative is the same. Surging inflation. Surging inflation. I guess they think we, including myself, are retards. No, we live in the world with everybody else, and we do see inflation out of control, surging energy prices, food inflation off the freaking Richter scale with no end in sight. But then you got, again, the misinformation. And the misinformation is very, very simple. The Federal Reserve they missed the boat. They're behind the curve. No. Absolutely not. The Federal Reserve is, again, how many times do I have to say this? Well, what they do, the propaganda ministry, is they want you to believe that the Federal Reserve isn't planning every second that they exist. Those entities that run the Federal Reserve, they're not human, okay? Believe me, they're laughing. They are laughing when they hear, let's see, the mainstream propaganda, Fed's behind the curve. They're laughing because they realize they are not behind the curve. They're years, decades ahead of the curve. As a matter of fact, I've told you, whether you want to believe this or not is up to you, all right? They don't live in the same time period that you and I do. They're thinking way, way down the line. Why? Because they are working towards a goal. They've been working towards this goal for decade after freaking decade after freaking decade. So what we have now is the outcome, which they knew would happen from monetary policy that was put into effect years ago. I mean, look, just to put a perspective on that, this guy has explained to you for years the Fed was going to inflate, and inflate some more from years ago. We are now seeing the side effect or the effect of the Federal Reserve inflating from president after president calling on the Fed to do more, current retard included, last retard included, and the retard before him too. Okay, Obama retard, Trump retard, and Biden retard. I don't play any favorites. They're all retards, and they don't work for you. They're just a figurehead for you to sit there and worship. And if you've been worshiping these three things, then trust me, your faith is in the wrong place. None of them work for you. They work for the corporate agenda, henceforth what you're seeing right now. You really think, honestly, that your vote counts? You really think that presidents are elected? How about no? They're all selected way in advance. They already know who's going to win the next election and why, and the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after. It's all a game. Once you understand that, you're going to be a lot better off. Until that time, you're going to be lost, walking through time and space, not knowing which way is up, down, or sideways, just like they want you to be. You see, look, they are creating a slave society. You all know that. But they want you dumbed down, not understanding your current environment. They don't even want you to be able to, again, carry out normal activities in life. They want you borrowing and struggling. How you going to deal with inflation? How you going to make ends meet? Blah, blah, blah. So you can't sit down for a freaking moment, a nanosecond, and think. That's what they want. Okay? And most people have fallen very, very deeply into that trap. It's unbelievable. It really, really is. It's pathetic in my view, but that's just the way it is. But that's why people like you and me and Misha and my buddy Chuck, all lionesses, why we can take in this environment and we know what to do, when to do it, and why. This is why a fraction of us will excel in the current environment, and the vast majority are going down. They are going down to that lower rung of society. The new feudal system is in full swing, and you haven't seen anything yet. People, look, all this talk, again, from the propaganda ministry about how the Fed is behind the curve is all a lie. It's all bullshit. Oh, the Fed's got to do this. Oh, the Fed's got to do that. Oh, yeah. No, and no. They, just as you and I are on a very specific course through this market, understanding what's going on by simply knowing where to look, and that is looking at the debt market, 10-year yield, dollar, relative strength of the dollar, crude oil, easy money from central banks. You know how stupid they think you are? Let me put that into perspective real quick, and I've covered this. I've shown you charts on this, but I want you to look for yourself. Okay, I'm going to give you another homework assignment right now. Open up another search engine, anyone, pick one. Federal Reserve balance sheet. Punch it up. It's right there, hidden in plain sight. Now, just click on this. Once you get to the Federal Reserve balance sheet, you're going to see a timeline. Click on 1 year, 6 months. Look at November when they supposedly tapered. Tapering means to slow down asset purchases. Nothing slowed down. It's gone straight up. There's no deviation here. So they think you are too dumb to take a nanosecond or maybe a few minutes of your time, go to their website, hidden in plain sight, and see that there has been zero taper. You understand? I hope you do. But that's how stupid they think you are. That's how stupid they think I am. They don't realize that you and I, they may be light years ahead, but so are we. So are we. We know what they're doing, why they're doing it, because they're working towards the end game. Their end game is to own it all. Be the lender and buyer of last resort. To be the government of the world for which they have already achieved. The rest of it is nothing. The freaks that they parade out, oh, this representative, that representative, retard presidents, they don't matter at all. They, like I told you, they could put a farm animal behind the Resolute desk. It would make no difference. None. The president does not dictate policy. Okay, kings, queens, monarchs, dictators, they don't matter. Okay, it's the central banks who run everything. I don't know another way to put that, but that's our strength. If we realize that the market is a twisted freak show, if we realize that central banks are running the entire show, well, doesn't that make our life pretty simple? How do you think, for example, I've kept hundreds of thousands of you from all over the world ahead of the market? You think I just pull this out of a hat? No, I understand the end game. I understand it, and so do you. Look, everything I know, you know. I don't hold the damn thing back. Nothing. I come out here and I tell you what I see. But before I run off at the mouth here, let me see what else I wanted to talk about. I did write some things down, but this video is getting kind of long. I think I covered the important points here, and I know you get it, and I'm going to push these same points home every single day. I think we need to hear these things over and over again, repeatedly. We're in an environment where people are being forced to fail. Forced to fail by design, okay? By succumbing to the pressure, by succumbing to the environment, a sense of learned helplessness. I can't do anything about it, so I'm just going to surrender. I say bullshit. The moment you throw your hands up and surrender is the moment you'll lose. I will never surrender. And I don't want you to ever surrender either. We're not going to. We will weaponize the system for as far and as long as we possibly can. And it won't matter. It won't matter what they do. I sent out another newsletter earlier today where I explained to people that we are nearly invincible. In fact, I would say we are invincible because not only are we taking advantage of the market, being long the market, taking advantage of it, going higher, long, okay, we're trading around positions if you're so inclined, if you're one of my lions, my lionesses out here. But we are also in risk-off assets, precious metals, physical gold, more specifically silver. I love cryptos, you know that too. This is how you hedge yourself. And then you look for other opportunities as well. Energy, surging to the moon. We all got in on that, me and my lions. I think we're waiting for a dip here. Like I said earlier, I sent this out in my newsletter. And then we're going to jump all over it, okay? Freak show. But that doesn't mean we got to lose. We will not lose. The only way we're going to lose is if someone out here, you, me, I don't know, decides to surrender. And I will never surrender. Never. There's no way. My dead corpse won't surrender. How's that? There's nothing that's going to get in my way, which means there's nothing getting in yours. You understand? All right, people, look, I covered a lot of stuff here with you. Keep this in mind. We're not out of the woods yet, okay? The yellow flag remains. Will it turn red? I think we're going to know probably by the end of this week. If we see another spike in that 10-year yield, that's not good. We're going to keep our eyes on that. I will watch it for you. And since I come out here twice a day, believe me, you're going to be on top of this market big time. All right? Love you a lot. I'm out of here. Please, one more thing. As I always say, this is our thing. I need you guys and girls. Okay, I am not on a single social network. How about that in this day and age? Again, everybody's on a social network, right? Not Greg Mannarino. I rely on you. If you think my videos are good, if you think people need to hear this stuff, down here somewhere, click that like button, give me a thumbs up, and then you're going to see another little window open up. It says share the video. Please share this stuff. Okay, there is strength in numbers. If we can get through, if each one of us can maybe get through to one person a week, we've done our job. What do I always tell you? We're responsible for each other. I'm out here for that reason. I feel a responsibility to all of you, honestly, in my heart, because I want us to win. Okay? And we can get more people here, I think, to understand our thing. This is not Greg Mannarino's thing. This is our thing. So participate by sharing my work. Understand? All right. I'm really leaving. I will see you in the morning.